Saturday night was happy hour for the Miami Hurricanes. 2-for-1 in the transfer portal. Wide receiver Shemar Kirk, defensive lineman Anthony Campbell. Welcome to the U.
You are Locked On Canes, your daily podcast on the Miami Hurricanes. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Happy Mother's Day to all the moms and all the grandmas out there watching us today here. And thank you to the everydayers who make Locked On Canes your first listen each and every day. I'm Alex Donno, your host, University of Miami alumnus, longtime South Florida sports radio vet, and contributor to allhurricanes.com. So we got a 2-for-1, my friends. New defensive lineman, Anthony Campbell out of ULM. Another new wide receiver. 24 hours, the wide receiver room has been revolutionized. And Shemar Kirk on Saturday night became the latest wide receiver to join the University of Miami. Let's talk about Kirk first. 6'1", 190-pound outside receiver out of Reedley College, community college over in California. And yesterday was a big day for Shemar Kirk. He got his associate's degree at the Reedley College commencement and had a really cool announcement for the University of Miami at that ceremony. So one chapter closes, another chapter opens for him. You know, I've had the chance to speak with Shemar a little bit behind the scenes in recent weeks, and just a really, really motivated guy. And he wanted to be a Cane. I know that a lot of us were a little bit worried, and kind of worried in a good way, because it's like, hey, the more good wide receivers we can get, the better. But Tyler Harrell, the Alabama wide receiver transfer who committed on Friday night, and we love Harrell. We're very happy to have him, but that made some of us a little bit concerned because we love Shemar Kirk. We're like, oh no, did Harrell take Kirk's spot? You know, scholarships are scarce at this point for Miami. Are they going to take another wide receiver? Thankfully, they still did have that spot for Shemar Kirk, and much like Tyler Harrell, Shemar Kirk is an outside wide receiver who's oozing with talent. He can be a deep threat, absolutely, but he can also use his shiftiness and acceleration to turn bubble screens into big plays. He's really hard to tackle. His longest touchdown catch last year at Reedley was 90 yards. In 2 seasons in JUCO at Reedley, Shemar Kirk caught 76 passes for 1,446 yards. He averaged 19 yards per catch. So obviously, the competition you face at JUCO is not the competition you face in the ACC and the Power 5, but this guy was an absolute standout at that level. And if you watch his film, it looks like a lot of his shiftiness and instincts can probably translate to the Power 5 level. I'm really excited about Shemar Kirk. And Miami is not the only big school that wanted him. Texas A&M and Mississippi State were very interested. UCF, the former national champs, were also interested in Shemar Kirk, and he ends up picking the University of Miami. He was one of the many transfer portal players who visited last week. And that unofficial visit, or I guess it was actually an official visit for him, that OV helped seal the deal. And he wanted to wait to make the announcement until his commencement ceremony at Reedley. I think he, was probably tempted to make the announcement a little bit earlier in the week because he wanted to be a Cane, but he wanted to wait and time his announcement for that awesome moment when he got his diploma yesterday. So I'm really happy for him. And this is a great underdog story. So Shemar Kirk has always been talented going back to his high school days, and I'm sure even prior to that, but he admits that he was immature in high school. He didn't take football seriously, took time off from playing football in high school, and that, affected his recruitment. It affected, how much film he had out there for colleges to look at. And before he got a second chance to play football at Reedley College, he actually worked for 2 years as a security guard at a Nissan automotive plant. And then he was able to get his second chance at Reedley and was able to make the most of that. And now he goes from working security at an automotive plant to being on scholarship at the University of Miami. And Shemar Kirk, he admits he was immature in the past. He's put all that behind him. This guy is all business now. He's trying to make the most of this second opportunity, and he's got a great chance staring in front of him here at the University of Miami. So, this is another one. I think he and Tyler Harrell both can absolutely compete to be starters. it's not going to be easy to take starting jobs away from the guys that I have penciled in. But you know what? Let's bring some of that competition back to Green Tree. Can we try to bring back the old days where you had heavy hitters in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s trying to take each other's jobs out there? Okay, because, yeah, right now you can say starting wide receivers on the outside, it looks like Colby Young and it looks like Jacoby George, but Tyler Harrell on campus now, Shemar Kirk on campus now, they are both talented enough to compete. And even for those who don't earn starting jobs, there's going to be playing time to be had. There's going to be rotation. Coach Kevin Beard said it. We go on vertical. Shannon Dawson is going to utilize the passing game, or at least try to, a lot more than his predecessor did at Miami. That guy who's now at Maryland, not exactly earning rave reviews in Josh Gaddis, but there's going to be opportunities to be had. And I think, because a couple people have asked me, like, Donno, are these guys just Jags, like Tyler Harrell and Shemar Kirk? Like, are they going to factor into the rotation at all? I believe they will. I believe that both of these guys are going to offer hefty competition at those wide receiver spots. And, I mentioned the two guys that I penciled in at starters. I'm also not sleeping on Isaiah Horton, who had a really, really good spring. So there's going to be really, really nice competition at wide receiver at Green Tree practice fields this year. So welcome to the U, Shemar Kirk, and welcome to the U, Anthony Campbell. The Miami Hurricanes got a defensive lineman as well. He actually announced his commitment a little bit before Shemar Kirk did. Campbell, his dimensions, I think, are exciting. We'd all like him to maybe take a few extra trips to the buffet table and put on a little bit more weight, but this guy's 6'7", 6'7", 285-ish pounds. I think one of the great mysteries right now is finding an accurate weight on Anthony Campbell, because some publications have him listed at 277. Some have him listed at 283, 285. I think one publication even has him at about 300 pounds. I'm going to have to see this guy step on the scale myself before I can make a final ruling. But, he might be, I'm going to guess he's under 300 pounds, but he's got that 6'7" frame. I'd like to see this guy batting down a ton of balls at the line of scrimmage this year. And some good news on Anthony Campbell. There's definitely potential here for him to kind of help fill a void that, Miami struggled with a little bit last year. He does have good grades against the run. If you go by those Pro Football Focus metrics, he earned a 74.4 run stopping grade last year at ULM. That's Louisiana Monroe. Anything over 70 is considered good in those grades. At ULM, now he did play the majority of his snaps on the edge, but he also plays inside. That's where Miami needs him a lot more, because the Hurricanes are pretty loaded with edge rushers, a little bit thinner in the interior. 71 of his 206 snaps last season were played inside versus on the edge. So, this is another one. Again, I'm not necessarily expecting, hope he proves me wrong. I'm not necessarily expecting Anthony Campbell to come in and be, make himself a first round draft pick or anything like that. But I have Leonard Taylor holding down one of the starting jobs at defensive tackle. He's pretty much got that on lock. But the spot next to him is up for grabs, right? Competing for it, you'll have the likes of Jared Harrison-Hunt, Ahmad Moten, Anthony Campbell now, Branson Dean, the transfer from Kansas State, Thomas Gore, the transfer from Georgia State. Branson Dean is from Purdue. I don't know why I said Kansas State. Branson Dean from Purdue, Thomas Gore from Georgia State, Joshua Horton, the true freshman, and Jake Lichtenstein in his second year with the program. So may the best man win, okay? And Anthony Campbell, he's got a cool story as well. He grew up in Kingston, Jamaica. So he started his career at junior college before ending up at ULM, and now he's a Miami Hurricane. So let's keep rising to the top, my friend. All right. When we come back, guys, we got two new – well, we actually got three new Canes, because I want to talk about a preferred walk-on when we come back. Plus, this might be – because it's still in progress today, Sunday – this might be the greatest unofficial visit weekend in University of Miami history. 4 stars and 5 stars galore on campus this week. We'll talk about how those visits are going and a unique strategy by Mario Cristobal to really make these visits special. We'll get to that and more right here on Locked On Canes. If you're looking for a delicious snack, but you don't want all the sugar and calories, you need the best tasting protein bar ever built. You got to try this. If you're like me and you want to make healthier snack choices, but you don't want all the compromising on taste, I've got just the thing for you. Built Bars and Built Puffs. Built Bars are healthy and they taste amazing. Seriously, they taste so amazing. You won't think that they're good for you. You got to try this. What makes Built Bars so good? For starters, they're all covered in 100% real dark chocolate. That's right, real chocolate. And they come in unbelievable flavors like churro, peanut butter brownie, cookies and cream. I had a churro puff this morning, and it's one of the best breakfasts of all time. I'm not sure how Built does it, but these bars taste like a candy bar while maintaining amazing macros. And what's even better is that they're healthy, only 130 calories, just 4 grams of sugar, and a whopping 17 grams of protein. And now you don't need to wait to get a box. For years, we've been telling you to order your Built Bars at Built.com. Now you can also get them at your local Walmart or Sam's Club, and you can still get your specialty flavors at Built.com with our promo code LOCKEDON15 for 15% off. That's right. Head to your nearest Walmart today, walk into the pharmacy section, and grab yourself a box of Built Bars. You can pick up a 4-bar box of cookies and cream, double chocolate, or coconut puff. If you're close to a Sam's Club, run in and grab a 13-bar box with hit flavors. You can thank me later because I love me some Built Bars. Thank you so much for making Locked On Canes your first listen today. For the everydayers, we are available free wherever you get your podcasts and available free on YouTube. So make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to our channel, audio platform, and YouTube. And guys, if you want to take your everydayer experience to the next level, join our VIP SMS texting service through Subtext. I'm including a link in the show description below. I send text messages with Canes football, breaking news, recruiting scoops, practice observations, one-on-ones. I send them right to your phone. It's completely free for the first 14 days. And then if you opt in, it's $4.99 a month. We give you a ton of extra value there. And it's a nice way to say thank you because we don't ask for donations on the show. I don't throw you my my cash tag or anything. Like, you know, with the subtext, you're getting a ton of extra value through this service. So if you want to check it out free for 14 days, click the link in the show description below. So, wow, this this isn't even a complete roster because I think that there may have been some players who visited this weekend or are visiting who may be verbally committed to certain other universities who may not like want that out there. But this is a close to complete list, and I want to send a shout out to Gabby Urrutia from Inside the U for working really, really hard on compiling this for all the players he saw on campus on Saturday. And I'm sure most of these visits or many of these visits are continuing into Sunday. So you had at least 3 5-stars on campus this weekend. 5-star cornerback Ellis Robinson IV from IMG Academy. He's a Georgia verbal commit, but it's been very talked about. He's keeping his recruitment open, that he's taking visits other places, and he's checking out Miami a lot. So Ellis Robinson is someone Miami is trying to trend up for, but he is a Georgia verbal commit. 5-star edge rusher Dylan Stewart was on campus. I like him a lot. Here's a guy we absolutely love. 5-star defensive lineman. He's a defensive tackle, David Stone. Now, man, David Stone's recruitment over the last couple months, it's been like a tug of war between Oklahoma and Miami. Now, Oklahoma had and maybe still has an edge over David Stone over Miami. He's an Oklahoma native. He plays at IMG Academy in Florida, but he's from Oklahoma, so that might have a dream school thing going on for him. But he was on campus in Miami a ton in March. Then he was on campus in Oklahoma a ton in April. Now he's back in Miami in May. So you'd love to see Miami start trending more for him because remember, Miami has been trending strongly in recent weeks for another 5-star defensive tackle, Justin Scott from Chicago. I don't believe he has been on campus this weekend, but he was on campus last month, and Miami actually sent some coaches up to his high school in the Chicagoland area to visit him within the last couple of weeks. So other top players who were on campus, top 24/7 tight end Caleb Odom, who is trending towards Miami. Carrollton, Georgia tight end. He's gigantic, 6'6", 220 pounds. Well, I think he's listed 6'5", but he's definitely pushing 6'6". Caleb Odom. I'd love that to be the headlining tight end in this next upcoming class. Top 24/7 safety Jaylen Heyward, who's another Georgia commit. So Miami had 2 Georgia commits on campus this week. Here's one that I love. 4-star safety Zaquan Patterson I'd love Miami to land him. 5-star wide receiver JoJo Trader was on campus. We love JoJo from Chaminade. We want Miami to land him. Miami has been trending a little bit higher on 5-star Ryan Wingo out of St. Louis. If they can keep trending with 5-star JoJo Trader, Kevin Beard deserves a statue if he can land both of these guys, right? And he's already landed Chance Robinson, who's a 4-star and absolutely awesome. At Chance Robinson on cue, he was on campus this week as well. Oh, and how about this? Florida State commit wide receiver LaWayne McCoy was also on campus. He gave Miami strong consideration before verbally committing to Florida State. So it sounds like this is one of those guys Miami has not given up on. Like he committed to the bad guys, and now the good guys are trying to get him trending back. We'll see how that goes. Cornerback Jalen Crawford was on campus. Defensive lineman Jay and Jackson. Defensive lineman TJ Lindsay. We talked about him a couple of days ago because we've known for quite some time he was going to be visiting. Cornerback Ricky Knight III from the Benjamin School in Palm Beach. I think Ricky Knight's going to be a Cane. I'm not sure if I have already. I may have, but I'll say it again. I'll drop a Donno ball for Ricky Knight. I think he's going to end up being a Cane when it's all said and done. Cornerback Romanos Frederic was on campus. Miami commit safety Isaiah Thomas from Clearwater Academy International. He was on campus. Another Miami commit, Chris Wheatley Humphrey was on campus. South Broward running back who we love, and wide receiver Amari Jefferson was on campus. So, and those are only like some of the top guys. There are probably some other visitors that didn't maybe fly on the radar, and there could be some that the media doesn't feel comfortable talking about because maybe there are other guys who are committed elsewhere. So we will see. And how cool is this? Some of you guys may have heard about this yesterday evening. So not only did these guys get to check out campus and, do the whole tour of all the facilities and the meetings that you do on official visits, but Mario Cristobal also, he only lives a mile from campus. Mario Cristobal had all the recruits over to his place for a pool party and a cookout yesterday. I wanted to try to sneak into it. When I heard that the pool party was happening, I'm like, maybe I can sneak in saying I'm the lifeguard, or somebody in our subtext group suggested I should tell them I'm an Australian punter, and I could have gotten in. G'day, mate. Hey, I'm going to drink me some Fosters. I'm going to eat some shrimp on the barbie here at Cristobal's house. Because, I'm 38 years old, but some of these Australian punters are like 40 enrolling in colleges. So maybe I could have passed for an Aussie punter. I don't know. But no dice. All right. We got a couple of interesting notes out of a local high school here in South Florida, including a welcome to the U I got to hand out to a friend of the show. So keep it locked right here to Locked On Canes. Thank you so much for making Locked On Canes your first listen today. I'm also, before we're done here, I'm going to shout out the latest 5-star reviews we've received on Apple Podcasts. If you guys listen to the audio version of the show and you want to leave us a 5-star review, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, we like to shout those out when we see them because we love you guys spreading the love and spreading the gospel of Locked On Canes. So this was interesting from last night. There was a decommitment. 4-star cornerback Jamari Howard decommitted from Michigan State. He's right here in our backyard, Westland Hialeah. 8th-ranked cornerback in the class of 2024. This guy's a stud. This is one of those things where like people always thought it was strange. Like Michigan State, why is he committed to Michigan State? So I don't know. I guess we always had the feeling that Jamari may decommit or flip at some point, and he's opening his recruitment. And I've got to feel pretty good about Miami's chances here. This is going to be a very sought-after player. He's a high-ranked cornerback, so chances are Deion Sanders is going to give this young man a call as well. You know how that goes. But I met him on campus. He was at an unofficial visit. I think it was early April during spring football, and he also showed up at Miami's spring game. So, do not sleep on 4-star corner Jamari Howard now that he has officially opened his recruitment back up. He's been on Miami's campus, I believe, multiple times. So this is someone you definitely have to watch out for. And a high school teammate of his happens to be a show favorite and a friend of the show. I want to throw out a huge congratulations to Max Lawrence. He just committed to Miami last night as a preferred walk-on. And Max, he figured out how much of a nerd and a loser I am because I think he announced his commitment around 9:30 p.m. last night. I was already in bed. So I missed it. I sent him a tweet this morning like, hey, I'm so sorry I missed this last night. Congratulations, because here's the thing, man. I stay up late some nights when you got Panthers playoff games and Heat playoff games. I hit a freaking wall last night on Saturday night. By the time it was 9 o'clock, I'm like, man, I'm ready to turn in. So by the time he made his announcement at 9:30, I missed it because I was asleep. Max Lawrence, this is a quarterback who I think it's going to make that room better and deeper. You guys should watch his film. I'm going to link it on Twitter, his huddle reel and his high school highlights at Westland Hialeah. 6'3", 190 pounds. I've met Max in person before at a couple of different events at Miami. He's been on the show before, so I encourage you to check out that episode. So Max Lawrence, welcome to the U. So happy to have you aboard, young man. And by the way, I am going to be blowing up Max's phone this week to try and get him back on the show because, he joined us, about a month and a half ago to talk about his recruitment. Now that he's committed to the U, I want to get Max back on the show very, very soon. All right. Shout outs, my friends, to the newest 5-star reviews we have received. Here is one from Cycle Kane. This is like the Lance Armstrong of our audience, I guess. He says, I am in the car a lot with work. Having Canes talk every day is a massive value. What Donno brings to us each day makes the offseason bearable. With insider info like this, if you're a Canes fan and don't listen, you have a huge information blind spot, he says. Glad you were on our side, Alex. Keep grinding. Thank you so much, Cycle Kane. We also get a 5-star review from Gucci Kane, who says, Donno is always on top of the daily headline news and keeps you informed on the possible dark horse stories that become big news later on. Love it. Keep it up. Thank you so much, Gucci Kane. Thank you so much, Cycle Kane. And if you guys leave us 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts, we do shout those out whenever they come in. And just so you know, sometimes for whatever reason, when you leave a review, it might be like a week or more before it actually shows up on the feed. I don't know why. Probably Apple wants to vet you to make sure that you're not like me using burners, leaving fake reviews. So if you leave me a review and I don't see it for a little bit, do not sweat. It'll probably pop up there eventually. So thank you guys so much. Again, welcome to the U, Max Lawrence. Welcome to the U, Anthony Campbell. Welcome to the U, Shemar Kirk. And by the way, Miami's transfer portal class, last I checked, 24/7 hadn't updated it yet with the two newest because, again, Kirk and Campbell last night arrived in the transfer portal. So they've still got Miami with the number 9 transfer portal class. I think if my math checks out, they're going to be number 7 in the country now once these new ones are added in the mix. So, I know that we probably wanted a little bit more of like a premier defensive tackle than what we ended up coming away with, but I'm not going to complain about a top 7 portal class, bros. I mean, for anyone who's like, what are we doing in the portal? Terrible. We can't recruit. Where's the NIL money? The portal, it's going nowhere. You end up with a top 7 portal class. Let's stop complaining about that. We'll talk to you next time on another episode of Locked On Canes, part of the awesome Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.